Up, I see him.
Yeah.
Get him.
No!
No! No! He's on fire, he's on fire. Get him, Brad. Use your wall. You almost got him. Up.
Hey guys, Drifter here. I hope you enjoyed that intro clip. I'll show you the full clip and how it ended in just a little bit. But I wanted to talk about Realm Royale today. I've been playing it some. It is a really fun game, but I feel that it's very deceptively marketed. When I initially installed this game, I did so because it looked like an easier Fortnite. It had cute chickens, it had high-res kind of fantasy animations, it had a lot of very silly things with it, and I assumed that Realm Royale was the place to go for all the bad kids who were tired of dying in Fortnite. I thought I would come over here and everybody would be super casual, that it would be a super easy game to master, and that I could just roll kids and get a whole bunch of victory royales super fast. Unfortunately, I could not have been more wrong. The game more closely resembles high-tier competitive play in Overwatch, and it is not even remotely casual. Realm Royale is a very sweaty game, and I think that this is the Battle Royale game that big boys go to play. This is the Battle Royale game that people go to play when they're really tired of RNG or getting picked quickly. Most of you on this channel are probably unfamiliar with Realm Royale, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown on what is similar, what sets it apart, and then my opinions on it. So it's got some things like every other Battle Royale game. You drop from a plane, in this case a Zeppelin. The map is very big with lots of named cities. There's a danger circle that you don't want to touch because it deals damage over time. In this case, it'll bleed your armor before it'll bleed your health. The loot is randomized and in chests that you have to scavenge everywhere, and most of the weapons you'll pick up that are totally definitely not analogous to Fortnite weapons have some sort of degree of randomness, of bloom, of hip spread, or they're a projectile or something like that. You can play solo, duo, or squads, and it's a pretty standard battle royale, at least from the outside looking in. There are some smaller cosmetic twists to it, in that of course it's high-res fantasy themed. It's very sort of Elder Scrollsy, sort of like Paladins or Lord of the Rings or something like that. And of course the chickens. When you get downed, you turn into a chicken and hobble around like a beat up chicken that leaves a trail of feathers and waves a little flag, and that's very fun. It's very neat that you don't parachute in, you just slam into the ground and do this cool superhero landing. And I think the aesthetics are very clean and good looking. This may be simply due to the fact that it's an alpha and that it's being pushed out pretty quickly to compete with other Battle Royale games, but the fact that there isn't a lot of clutter on the map makes it easier for me to spot people, and I enjoy that. However, Realm Royale does have several key differentiating factors that makes it a very unique Battle Royale experience. The first one is the down system. The down system is totally different and, in my opinion, better than any other BR game on the market currently. When you kill somebody, instead of dying, they instantly transform into a chicken that has a black eye and has been beat up, and it runs around waving a little white surrender flag, and it's just a big fat funny bird. It's when you kill somebody as a chicken, they got clucked, and when you kill the chicken, you're a cock blocker. So I think that the naming for it is very fun as well. You can kind of hobble around more slowly than you could run normally, but you can jump and you can go in buildings, and wherever you go, you make a clucking sound. However, if you choose to hide and just sit still in a bush or behind a tree or something, you cluck way less. The more you move, the more noise you make. So you have a choice depending on if you want to get distance, if you want to try and juke people, which I've seen some juking. Niku does very ludicrous things with his chickens and jukes people and kind of fakes them out around rocks and plants in ways that I never can, but he just completely bamboozles people. He doesn't normally go the sit still and hide method, but when it works, you'll turn back into a human and you'll be good to go, because you have to survive as a chicken for 30 seconds. Even in solos mode, when you get downed, you can still run away from the fight, and if you can live for 30 seconds, you pop back in at some fixed number of health that they've been constantly patching and toying with. This to me is more funny, more aesthetically pleasing, more fun, and in my opinion, more fair than most of the other BR games, especially solos. You just get shot and you get down, and that just kind of sucks. This one, you get shot and you get down, you have a chance, you can hop around, it's kind of funny, it's satisfying to kill the chickens, it's a game of cat and mouse to run away as a chicken, and there is a balance to it with the noise component. Moving along, Realm Royale is a heavily class-based game, especially so in squads, a little bit less so in duos and solos, because each class that you choose has its own passives. For instance, one of the more popular ones, the Warrior, has a passive where he very slowly regenerates health over time, and he has this big superhero leap, compared to, say, the Engineer, who regenerates armor slowly over time and can jump straight up and fall straight down, or the Hunter that reloads faster and has like a big like blink maneuver or something kind of like that. I think I actually messed up the Hunter's abilities, but you get the idea. Each one of these classes also has 4 unique abilities to choose from. In case of the Warrior, you can choose self-healing or temporary shield, or you can choose like a big like dash in and punch or a net. The Engineer can choose a barrier or a healing totem or something like a turret or a firebomb. The Assassin can choose to go invisible, or they can choose to throw a concussion, kind of like Farah's Boop, and all the classes have something like that. Each one also has special, unique, legendary weapons that you have to craft, but you can only craft those if you have a lot of currency, which we'll talk about in a minute, and if you have chicken fluff. You have to have killed somebody and harvest their body in order to get the good guns. You can't get them randomly. Survival and winning in this game is very heavily based on mastering your class, on mastering its unique movement ability, on your armor and regen passives, on comboing your abilities. Realm Royale is like Overwatch in the sense that you can dive very deep into one class and specialize in that class and get really good and carry in that class if you want to. In duos and especially in squads, it's super important to combo your abilities with your team, to heal them, to protect them, to dash in, to cover, to do a lot of different things. Getting good with comboing abilities, like Overwatch again, is the key to winning in squads. Number 3, the thing that differentiates the game a lot, and there's one other BR game that does this and I'll mention in a little bit, is that the loot system is constantly rewarding, even if you're finding items that you don't want to pick up. The short version of how it works is you'll land and you'll open chests and you'll find loot. You can only carry 2 guns and some armor and some potions and stuff, but if you don't want a gun or an attachment or something, instead of leaving there, you can hit X to grind it up into shards, which we can just call dollars or credits or currency, and you can just still search houses and just grind them up and get shard. Then you would take that currency to a forge and put it in the forge, and it'll take a certain amount of time, usually 1 minute, to craft you a high tier item if you've put enough currency in. This system reminds me a lot of Radical Heights, how you were constantly harvesting cash, and it's similar in a way to Fortnite, how you can constantly harvest materials and you're never punished for that. It's always good to have more materials. So going around and getting all these shards and going to the forges to build better things for yourself means you never feel gypped by whatever you get in your crates. Also, having to go to a specific location, which is marked on the map, and make your items, and you have smoke coming out of the top when people know that you're there making your items, forces team fights over objectives. In most other Battle Royale games, you're only having team fights over crate drops or a good building, or maybe you're just doing something goofy and you get caught out in the open. In Realm Royale, most of your team fights will be to control a forge because some team wants to make all the toys there or kill a team and take their toys, and it's just a way to pull teams together and force them to fight. Getting good loot is super important. This is one of the parts I may not like, in that, let's say you have a common rifle. Your very common rifle might deal 200 damage. Your uncommon rifle might deal 350 damage. Your rare rifle will deal 500, and your epic one will deal like 650 damage. So your weapon can be like 3.5 times better based on its tier and really do a metric ton more damage. That I find frustrating, in that it's super hard to get those weapons, and when you do get them, you can delete people that have really high health. I don't really like that one too much. And finally, you have your own built-in fast travel via your horsey or via your movement abilities. You don't have to get hop rocks, you don't have to find vehicles, you don't have to, if you get caught outside the zone, it's not so bad. You can almost always horse your way back in. So being afraid of just landing too far away and up the zones over there, I'll never make it, is pretty much never an issue. You always have time to loot and go in and get safe. So while Realm Royale may look like a shameless copy of this other game that some of you may have heard of called Fortnite, it differentiates itself via gameplay. Also, no matter how much good stuff you have, you can still die relatively quickly because it is a Battle Royale game. A person that combos you with an ability or hits you with a super high tier item can deal a ton of damage. For me, that's frustrating in that I can just be stuck with lower tier items and not be able to kill them, but I guess hi-rez has different ideas. It's got a lot of projectile weapons that you have to lead, and there's definitely a skill in that. It's got a few very twitchy weapons that you have to be very precise with, and most of the guns in the game are skill-based guns. There's not a lot of noob guns that are super easy to use, except maybe the rifle, but even that's a projectile and it's not perfectly rewarding. Most of the competitive Overwatch players I know really like this game, even some COD pros, and just most of the people that play competitively, period, they're moving away from Fortnite and PUBG and toward Realm Royale because this is the competitive player experience. I'm starting to take a shine to it as well as I learn it, as I get better at it. I'm playing it a little bit more, though the learning curve is downright brutal. It's now free to play, so in my opinion, I think it's totally worth downloading and at least trying out on PC. It doesn't really hurt you. You can hate it or not, but you got to give it a few games, probably like 5 or 10 to really get used to it and get an idea of what's going on. There are better tutorials on YouTube than I've made in this video. It's just an opinion video. Now let me go ahead and show you the full ending to that match.
At the edge.
Yeah, one more person, Brad.
Where's he at?
He's to your left. Pretty sure he went down in the water.
Hope I see him.
Yeah.
Get him.
No!
No! No! He's fire, he's on fire. Get him, Brad. Use your wall. You almost got him. Up. Use your wall.
No,
yes,
don't have the wall.
No!
No way!
So close.
That was a good fight, though. I have no idea how that guy didn't die. Like, damn.
I
You had
pulled him.
really
Yeah,
good
full
cut.
health, I guess.
Huh?
He had full health when he
I
got
also
away.
see he's got a full set of super armor as well.
Yeah.
No.
That was a good game. That was a good one to end on. That was good
Yeah.
gameplay.